Hey there, welcome back everybody. Tim Buckley with you, Chief Meteorologist here at WFMY News 2. Glad to have you in here for what has been a beautiful, stunning June day of weather. And we're not quite done with it just yet. We're going to have a nice, pleasantly cool evening. We'll have a cool morning early tomorrow. And then we're steadily going back toward the heat, toward the humidity. Pop-up thunderstorms could become an issue yet again by the weekend and early next week. Then we've got a heat wave to talk about. So let's get right to it. Glad to have you with us right now, looking live across downtown Greensboro. It almost looks like a postcard, doesn't it? Beautiful sky, beautiful conditions all across downtown at the moment, and a really nice finish to what has already been a really comfortable and pleasant day of weather. So that's a look live over downtown Greensboro. Here's a look in Burlington, where we have some flags kind of flapping in the breeze here. There is a little bit of a wind today, but not all that much of one. In Winston-Salem, another beautiful day as well. Again, seeing pleasant conditions. All of us are at the moment. And a live look at the coast, where honestly, it looks pretty good too. A little bit of cloud cover, but that's about it. Across the state for today, there were no rain showers, no thunderstorms either. But what we do have going on are just a couple of rows of clouds. That's what we were just looking at in Atlantic Beach. Nothing more than that. You see a couple thunderstorms over the Gulf Stream, as is typical, especially when you have a cool down. That can be when you start to see some of those storms kind of popping up. And across the country, there are no major weather systems tracking our way at the moment, although a couple of points of interest. There are a few thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings in the upper Midwest across Wisconsin. And there are a couple of others on the front range of the Rockies here across Colorado. That's a pretty typical spot to find tornadoes at this time of year. Nothing doing for us, though. We're going to stay pretty quiet for a little while longer. I don't see any chance of rain for us through tonight, tomorrow, or even into Friday. I think Friday will be the day that we start to watch things again. It's pretty quiet early on, but by Friday afternoon into Friday evening, that could be where we start to get back in that thunderstorm pattern. And I think this makes sense. We'll get the humidity back, we'll get the heat back, all of those things add fuel to provide for some of those scattered thunderstorms popping up. So we'll watch Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and into the weekend. Saturday has that potential as well. But as you know, with thunderstorms in the summertime, we can't really exactly predict where they're always going to pop up. So it can be a little bit dicey trying to nail them down. That's kind of where we're headed. In the meantime, enjoy yourself. It's really nice. Take a look at this. We'll be down in the mid-50s for parts of the area yet again. It's amazing to do this 2 days in a row, but upper 50s to mid-50s, right around 60 degrees in the cities, a perfectly comfortable night of weather. You could even open up the windows if you want to. However, for tomorrow, we'll get the heat back. The upper 80s are returning by your Thursday afternoon. Another thing we'll be watching for tomorrow is the release of the drought map. So last Thursday, we all saw that area of exceptional drought, the worst one, D4. It got expanded and actually doubled in size across our area. Well, since that happened, we've had about 4 days of rainfall. How will it be altered, or will it remain the same? I do think there may be some adjustments in parts of our area. There was a lot of rain, especially here, but also over here. What will the impact be? We'll get that newest release tomorrow morning. Usually comes out at about 8:30 or 9 a.m., so be looking out for that when you're catching up with us on the morning show on WFMY tomorrow. Our weather pattern going forward is pretty simple. We'll see a lot of heat and a lot of humidity building in, but not right away. So tomorrow's still pretty okay. For Friday, that's when we start to get a little stickier out there. And then the daily pop-up thunderstorms become a pest Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. So that's kind of where we're going. Now, it's not all bad. If you get damage, that's not a good thing. But of course, there are two things with thunderstorms. We want the rainfall. We don't want the lightning problems, the wind damage problems, or hail. Those kind of things don't want, but they are hard to avoid. They kind of get both together. So we'll see how that goes over the course of the weekend. I'm not putting out an alert on any days just yet because I don't have a lot of confidence in just exactly how many will be popping up and which day would be the one to highlight for you. But bottom line, Friday through Sunday, 2 to 8 p.m., watching the radar. Be flexible with those outdoor plans. We'll have some lightning at times. Not everyone gets a storm, but if you do, it's heavy, gusty, and it impacts your plants. So you got to watch for that. That's the plan for there. After that, we go into next week. The heat and humidity are starting to build, especially by Monday. This is when it's setting up out to the west of us. And if you watched the show yesterday, you noticed Brad and I were talking about this zone over on this side. That can be where the storms travel. So we'll keep an eye on that, but that should be cutting out of our area by Wednesday. And so we'll just be hot and very, very dry after that point. So I don't think the heat is all that terrible through the weekend, but by next week, especially Tuesday, that's kind of when it really kicks into high gear for us around our area. So rain chances, they come up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Not so bad otherwise. That's about it for the rain. As far as our heat goes, I do think it's mostly going to be an issue late on the weekend and into next week. We'll stay pretty typically hot before then, with highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. That's kind of the way it looks to me. Overnight lows will get muggier with low temperatures right around the 70-degree range through the weekend and into early next week as well. That's what we have going on with our local weather. We'll talk more about your Carolina weather in just a couple of minutes. But before we do that, I do want to let you know about an earthquake that just happened. This is in South America. So if we zoom in here, you'll notice it right there by the Venezuelan coast. This is not super far from places you might be familiar with, like Aruba, some of the other islands, the ABC Islands as they call them. Curacao is down there as well. But this is kind of a spot that can have tectonic activity or earthquakes, but it's not super common. This is larger than usual. It is a 7.1 quake at the moment. It's pretty deep, so it might not have quite as much impact, but again, still something to kind of keep an eye on. If you have friends visiting those areas, they sure may have felt it, because a 7.1, that's always a big, big earthquake. All right, we'll keep you more in the know on that as we go into our Weather Impact Show. We'll be back in just about 2 minutes' time.